I like to play Warframe, but the best part of playing Warframe is not playing Warframe and doing something else like watching a show. Did that sound like you? If yes, 1, it's weird that you sound just like me, and 2, the answer is to stop playing Warframe. But if you insist, you should try Loadouts, the best way to make Warframe more boring than Praetor's Magister, guaranteed. Before we start, I just need to come clean and say that this is basically just a Warframe recommendation guide. I realize that they're doing all the voiceovers and stuff that I'm just recommending a frame, not weapons or anything else that comes with a loadout. If that sounds good, skip to the section you want to know about, otherwise click off this video. Or not, I'm not your mom. This section is actually Spy, Rescue, and Sabotage. Why? All 3 modes generally follow the same principles. Run to the objective, complete the objective, and extract, with various lasers and deterrents along the way. Now, you might be thinking, hold on a second, that just sounds like every mission. Well, it is, but in these missions, we have inconveniences like rescue targets or terminals. The things you want from this loadout are the ability to move quickly to vaults, bypass security measures without triggering them, and being able to hack without interference. One frame that combines all of these traits in one is Wukong. Wukong's Cloud Walker might be one of the most broken abilities in the game. In one cast, you come against this cloud and get invulnerability, 300% increased movement speed, omnidirectional movement, invisibility, and the ability to bypass any security measure in the game. Subsume perspicacity on him as well, and you'll never fail another spy mission. Build your Spy Wukong for energy regeneration, and ability duration. My personal loadout features an efficiency, duration Wukong, any weapons, you're not going to be using them anyways, and pairs on mods Untraceable, Auto Breach, and a flex slot of your choice. Untraceable counters Wukong's biggest weakness in spy missions, being visible while hacking, as it gives you invisibility at the first terminal. Auto Breach is pretty self-explanatory. Limbo has the ability to enter the Rift Plane, the bane of all your teammates, where he will be undetectable by Grineer scanners and Corpus security lasers. However, any security measure that sees the player will still alert the vault, and Limbo will still use conventional movement to get to vaults, making him slower than Wukong. The first point can be remedied by also building Limbo for max range. Cast Cataclysm before entering a vault and it will destroy the majority of security cameras, allowing Limbo to just walk through the entire vault. The second point can be remedied by building Limbo for maximum parkour velocity. But no one in their right mind would build Limbo for parkour velocity because he doesn't benefit at all from it. Here's an example loadout and mod setup with a max range Limbo. You can take an invisibility companion like Shade to help supplement some of Limbo's weaknesses, but I find it doesn't really help all that much. Finally, your last choice is to run through the vault as fast as possible without regard to any security measures. Titana, Gauss, or Volt are usually fast enough to just run straight through without any issues whatsoever, and so these are the frames you want to use if you want to decrease the lifespan of your teammates as they slowly watch the counter tick down in your sortie. Interception is often seen as one of the hardest modes to solo, and for good reason. You have to meticulously manage to control 4 points from the enemy while more enemies spawn in. You have to have a frame that is fast and quick, able to kill many enemies and clear the map in mere seconds. It requires a quick time to clear, constant map awareness, a significant amount of your attention, or you take a max range and duration Neza and AFK in the middle of the map. In my personal interception build, I like to use Neza. It turns out there is a spawn cap in missions, and Neza spheres don't kill the enemies, only render them immobile. Build Neza for high range, duration, and energy regen. For focus, take Zenaruk for more energy regeneration. Kill the Eximus or anything against the terminals, and eventually nothing else or very little will spawn. After that, it's just about recasting Divine Spears every 21 seconds or so. The hardest part of all interception missions is getting all those enemies in one place. For this, capture one point, and then when the enemies start to amass near it, spear them and head to another point. I use the operator to get around quickly, so I can capture all 4 points while repeatedly coming back to CC the enemies trying to capture the first point. Do it right and you'll have the easiest interception of your life. Another mention here is Volbin, as they're able to control multiple points with their balls. Volbin has scaling fleshet orbs, as well as 2 besties to trap and kill enemies. Gameplay wise, it's pretty simple, just hold down Bastille so you get the vortex and put a fleshet orb on the bottom. The Bastille will prevent enemies from actually capturing points, and since they're being CC'd, they don't actually count towards a conflict. Mobile defense is all about defending. There's nothing you can do to decrease the defense timer, so in a mobile defense frame, we're looking for a good defender. Any frame that can protect the objective without much thought. For mobile defense, you really have a few options. You can take Frost or Limbo to encase the objective, a strong frame to nuke the enemies as they get closer because, as they say, a best defense is a good offense, a positive strike nova to slow down the enemies, etc. What's important is that you protect that terminal, so I use Limbo, built for maximum duration and negative range so less enemies can be in my bubble. I like Carrier so I don't have to exit the rift plane to break containers I pass by, thanks Looter, and a strong single target weapon to take out Eximus or Nullifiers that breach my personal space. Aside from those two enemies, you can literally just stand there and Cataclysm and AFK. The same goes for Frost, but with medium range instead. There are definitely other good options, but I find that these two work the best. Defense. As per the title, defense is the name of the game. You want a frame that is good at defending the objective from any and all harm, preventing the enemies from approaching the defense target, preventing damage to it as much as possible. Thus, a max range Limbo would do great if you wanted that defense mission to take 3 hours. Defense is actually about eliminating waves quickly, and for that reason I don't have a set loadout for defense. For Grineer defense, I found the most success with a ranged Saren, who can spread spores quickly and eliminate waves as they come. For Corpus defense, Volt can work as a low-level area nuke. Declare most of the enemies quickly, but you'll still declare out stragglers. Build for strength and range, as well as some efficiency because you're going to be spamming a lot. For general defense missions, Equinox has a decent area nuke.
Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds.
Basically, just bring something that can exterminate multiple enemies fast to make defense go faster. When a player sees Defection in their daily sortie, they suddenly decide that today is not a good day for Warframe. When they see Defection in their star chart, they avoid it like raisins and cookies. But it doesn't have to be this way. Help petition DE today to make Defection disappear completely from Warframe. You can be the change you want to see in the world. Unfortunately, it does sound like a lot of effort, so I guess we'll just make a loadout. In a Defection Warframe, we want somebody who can either speed up the liabilities or increase their health to make them survive. In this case, I would suggest speeding them up. Bring either Volt or Wisp. These two Warframes can make the Defection targets run faster, which speeds them up, hits more walls, but it also enables them to dodge more enemy attacks and get to the extraction point faster. You can use whatever Wisp or Volt build you have, unless you're a freak and build negative strength. Forgotten, just like Defection, Hijack involves using your shields to move an objective. For this, bring a shield regenerating frame like Protea, or just one with high shields like Hildren. Mod them as normal since you're just using them for the shields. However, one not well known fact is that health only Warframes will only drain from their health, not their shields. For this reason, Anaris or Nidus are also excellent options to clear Hijack due to their high health and health regen. Build as normal for a more reputable source. Here are some other miscellaneous tips. You can actually ride on some of the defense objectives while they're moving. Here you can see I jump onto this specific spot and it keeps me there for the entire ride. If you have an on-call crew that heals on killing enemy, this passive works for the defense target as well. If you're running a Naros, unless you get knocked off the objective, you can literally AFK for the entire mission as shown. Yeah, technically any frame will work for mining, fishing, and conservation, but the most effective by far is Aurora. It's her whole theme, she's a hunter, she hunts things. For a companion, you'll want to run Oculus because not only does it scan plants for you, it also highlights fish so you'll never have to farm set to standing again for some questionable depth. For conservation, Aurora has an AoE sleeping arrow that's way more effective than the Tranquilizer gun, and for mining you basically have infinite invisibility. As the goal is not to do damage, but to hunt things, my loadout consists of duration and range, so I can be invisible for longer as well as hit all the conservation targets during a hunt. For Cetus fishing in particular though, you should use Volt. Volt's passive works on fish, so you can use any fishing spear for any fishing status. Much like mobile defense, Excavation is about protecting a defense target. The main difference is that there's more than one target this time. I prefer to use a Limbo for Excavation as enemies can't hit the extractor if they're outside the bubble, and you can reasonably leave the excavator unguarded with the bubble on top of it. This allows you to go off to the next excavator and start working on that instead of just waiting around the first excavator hoping it doesn't get destroyed. Gameplay wise, this is pretty simple. Cast Cataclysm and Banish around the first excavator, and then gather enough power cells to max it out. Then recast Cataclysm and Banish to ensure that it will last until the excavator finishes mining and head for the next excavator. I also find it helpful to arrive in an excavator with 2 power cells. You can pick one up with your Warframe, go into Operator, and pick another up with Operator. You can use Operator to get to the next excavator. When you get there, the Operator power cell will get consumed, and then you can call your Warframe in to consume the power cell that the Warframe is holding. Of course, there are a few game modes like Assassination that were not covered, but that's mostly because there are many different variations to these game modes, or they're either not common enough or so easy that you really don't get much benefit from a loadout. Take Exterminate, for example. You could literally take anything to kill enemies and exterminate, so why would you need a loadout specifically for Exterminate? Game modes like Exterminate are also more frequented by players, so even if you do struggle with killing enemies, there's probably going to be somebody there to help you. With most of these game modes like Defection or Hijack, nobody wants to play them in the first place. But I digress. Loadouts are a great way to make sure you're prepared for basically any type of scenario. But they do come with a slight cost that making Warframe kinda boring, and it's one of the reasons why I stopped playing for a while. So use them at your own risk. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.